Hello everybody and welcome back to Reduced Retail. Today we have a $42 tablet. I was really compelled to review this tablet because it had a ton of sales, some really good reviews, and came with a whole host of features that you would expect out of a higher priced tablet. Now, given tablets in this price range are usually pretty cheap, and I expect it to definitely lack in several different areas. But at $42, it is really interesting on what this can stand up to versus, say, an iPad that may be 10 times its price, or even another Android tablet that's 5 times its price. $42 with free shipping is pretty awesome, but if the tablet itself is not awesome, then it's not worth it. So we will put it through some reviews. We'll check it. I've always used iPads in my life. I've used a few Androids, but I prefer iPads, so I know what to expect out of a premium product and a tablet. Well, let's go ahead and open it and see what they have. First, right off the bat, I want to let you know this is just a basic packaging that it comes in. Nothing too extravagant. It gives you lists off. This is probably their barcode. All day mail. This is a 7-inch tablet, and I'll go over some of the specs that it comes with, but let's go ahead and open it up. Alrighty, so as I open the box, looks like we have our tablet here, some cords, and it looks like our wall outlet charger, which doesn't have too much weight to it. I wasn't expecting it to be a really nice one anyways, but nice. They gave you your wall charger. And then here is, my assumption is this is the USB to power supply adapter. That's what I'm assuming that is. Looks like they have another cord in here. And this is a USB to micro USB. So this is kind of nice. This must have a micro USB out so that you can plug this into a computer as well, which is nice. They give you this. Oh, and a USB connector to, micro USB. So that's nice. They give you some extra cords. Let's go ahead and check out the tablet itself. So it looks like they have a protective foam on the top of here. So that's pretty nice that they have that. And then they have it wrapped in cellophane. Let's just go ahead and get rid of this. Don't need that. Let's check out the tablet. Alrighty, so you can see the my phone in the glare, but first impressions are that it is definitely a cheaper plastic than you expect out of some of the higher price premium. You know, an iPad feels much better than this. It's not actually super light. I believe it's 9.9 ounces, so it is a little bit lighter than, say, an iPad mini, but not by much. It still has a little bit of weight to it, but the feel, the quality, the overall materials they've used doesn't feel quite as good. Doesn't feel, it feels like there's weight in the middle of it, but not, the edges kind of feel, I mean, I'm not getting any flimsy edges, I shouldn't say that, but you just feel that it doesn't quite have the everyday durability and quality that you may expect out of a higher priced item. But given that, like I said, it's maybe 1/10 the price of a full-scale iPad, this is not too bad. So we got our reader there, here's our power, sound. It does come with a camera, which is nice. So let's go over some of the performance features that come with this given iPad. It is a quad-core 1.1 gigahertz processor that is in this iPad, so it shouldn't have too much problem with speed, and it does come with half a gigabyte of RAM, which is nice. The screen is a 7-inch screen, and it is 1024 by 600 pixels. So it shouldn't be quite as crisp as some of the higher-end HD displays that come on premium products, but this is not too bad, and it does have a dual facing camera. This is a 2 megapixel camera, and on the front I believe it's a 0.3 megapixel camera. So the front's probably not going to be too great, but 2 megapixels on the back is better than nothing. So kind of nice that it comes with that feature. As you can imagine, it also comes with Wi-Fi, it comes with Bluetooth. Those are given. It does come with 8 gigabytes of on storage flash. So that is nice. You can add up to, I believe, 32 gigabytes. So you can add to that internal data, which is nice. It comes with a 2500 milliamp battery. They say 3 to 4 hours. I'll charge it up fully and see what I get when I run it through some of the tests today and play with it. I'm expecting 3 to 4 hours. It's probably not going to be 7, 8, 9 hours like you get out of a nice iPad. Even some of the better tablets can get some pretty good full day range out of their battery. That is my big concern with this iPad. We'll put the battery to the test, but if you're looking for all day usability, this may be something that you'll have to charge throughout the day, but maybe not. It's supposed to be pretty energy efficient with that quad core that comes in it, but we'll see how that goes. Comes with everything you would imagine, and like I said, it weighs about 9.9 ounces, so a little bit lighter than your typical iPad mini. So, but everything I've given and looked at here, it's not too bad, but like I said, biggest gripe is going to be if you're looking for really high quality backing, it's not bad. Let's just see if we can't turn it on and see if something happens. I'm guessing it should come with some power. Okay, so it is turning on. There's a little Android logo as you would expect. So there's some music that obviously popping up for Android. I can already tell that did not sound really high quality. So I'm wondering if the speaker is going to be lacking. You can see the speaker right there, especially with just being one speaker over here. It didn't sound really that great. So that may be another issue, is if you're listening to a movie or something, it may not be great sound to it, but it does have Bluetooth. You could connect it to your headphones, which would be nice, because once you connect to your headphones, it's going to be the quality out of your headphones. So that will be a way around that if you don't want to use the speaker, if that's kind of low quality. But I'm already seeing it. It's flipping around, so it's nice that it registers, but you can see a little bit of lag there. Kind of reminds me of some of the more first generation iPads. The newer ones are quite a bit quicker, but it's keeping up. Not too bad. It's keeping up with me a little bit. So we'll put it through some tests today, and we'll be back, and I'll let you know how it fares, and kind of give you an idea of what it does versus maybe an iPad mini. And in that, just remember that price range is going to be pretty substantially different, but we'll see whether those drawbacks are worth the price difference or not. Alrighty, everybody, we are back, and I have had quite a bit of time to play with this little tablet. And I must say, it does offer a lot of great things. There are a ton of good attributes after playing with it. I let my fiance, she played with it quite a bit as well. She was on Pinterest. And so I let her play around with it and get her experience, including mine. And so we kind of talked about it, and I wanted to get from some other users' point of view. She has an iPad mini. She doesn't use it too much. I have an iPad mini. I use it quite a bit. So I was getting a view from someone that may not use as much, whether they could tell a difference from the experiences from a premium versus a much less premium but a much lower priced tablet. And what I found is this does a lot of things right, but some of the areas that it does not do right in, it lacks quite a bit. And I think that's going to be the biggest turnoff for most people. But let's get into what it does right. First off, the screen is not that bad. At this price point, I'm pretty impressed. It can even be fairly responsive at most times. It does get bogged down, and I will talk a little bit more about. Now, one thing I do want to add is that watching videos, you will start to see the big difference. You know, when you're just surfing the internet and browsing, you can read text fine. You can see everything on the browser just fine. But once you start watching videos, you will start to lack that quality of a higher premium device. So if you're YouTubing a ton and you are big on video, if your video needs to be as clear as possible, I think this screen's probably going to be a little bit lacking for you. And that might be a little bit of one of those drawbacks, and there certainly are several others. Now, another really pro on this is the battery life. I was really impressed with the battery life. It lasts much longer than I thought, and we used it quite a bit. We used it in intensive apps. We used it in, just a little bit of web browsing, just playing around on the App Store, checking things out. And it always stood up to just about anything I did with, to me, a good amount of battery life. Even my iPad, even my high-end iPad, will drain the battery pretty quickly if I'm using it in a high-intensive app or using it multitasking, whatever it is I'm doing, especially video usage on a high brightness setting. So I will say that I was pretty impressed with that. Connectivity, that's another big thing. My Bluetooth and Wi-Fi both connected seamlessly. They never had an issue. I didn't have dropped connections. Technology is getting a lot better in that aspect. And so even these lower end tablets, they are able to be using the better higher end components that connect just better, more efficiently. So I was impressed with that. Now, let's go on to one of the flaws I noticed that is more of a software. It's not really the tablet, but a software issue. And if we go to play this, let's play this little YouTube. I noticed this. Let's see. Play. So, I don't know if you can see that, but there's all the colors off. It's like that issue. Let's see here. That's not what I want to do. There's an issue with the color. The color is completely off. It's almost unwatchable. It really is unwatchable in that app. But then when I went to the browser, I thought when I go, oh my gosh, they can't even play videos. That's going to be a huge issue. When I go to the browser, it plays just fine. I always recommend using apps though. They're a lot more efficient. They don't get bogged down. My fiance, when she was browsing the internet, it looks like she was still doing Pinterest. She was going through there, and it was actually a lot of times would try to reload the page because it would get bogged down. It even kicked her out of the whole browser and said, please reopen the app reopen the browser because it completely crashed. So there are some of the issues the performance started to show. So I was a little hesitant on how well things would work, and there I started to see where some of the issues compiled. So always use the apps, but in this case the YouTube app was not working efficiently. So that's something that was a major red flag to me, and I wanted to pass on to you if you're looking at something at this price point. But that could be very well a software issue, which I think it is, because like I said, I played videos just fine through the browser and there was no color issue. So that's not technically the tablet itself or the hardware restraining it. It's just the software. But that does happen, and so that is a major flag that I wanted to throw out there. Now, design. It looks fine. It's a good little tablet. Even my fiance, she made the comment that it's a good little tablet. She kind of liked how it looked. And it just feels, even though it's not that higher quality materials, somehow they just did something right with the feel of it. I feel like I can take it places. It's not really going to break on me. Even though it's maybe not as high quality, it just has a decent feel to it. And the best part is because of the price point. If I throw it in a bag and somehow it breaks at $42, easily replaceable. Now, if it was my $500 iPad, full-size iPad, I may not be quite as happy if the screen breaks on it. This, not really worried. So that's one of those, pros that goes along with it. Now, one of the other major issues is the speaker, and you'll see the speaker here on the back. I showed it to you. It is definitely lacking. If you throw it all the way up to the highest setting, you can hear it. It's not like it's not loud, but it's pretty distorted. It's pretty washed out. It's what you expect out of a cheaper, lower end speaker. That was one of the big things that, if you're watching a video, if you're just throwing through YouTube videos, it's not that big of an issue. Voices aren't that bad, but when you start watching like a movie or something on it, you're gonna start seeing those issues with like explosions and those highs and those lows. It's not gonna connect with you very well. So if you like good sound, and I do, I like good sound, I noticed that right away. It just didn't have that punch of a higher end. And even my iPad, it lacks a little bit, but it's much better than something like this. So this is gonna be your lower end, but given the price point, I was somewhat expecting that. Now the cameras, they're so-so, kind of what you would expect from a lower end. They're not gonna be as good as a iPad by any means, but they do take pictures. There's a front facing, which is that 0.3, and the rear facing, which is, I believe 2 or 2.1. And so overall though, I've been fairly happy with it. I just want to say this is not going to be for everybody. I think you're going to have to be very patient. So if your price point is just too far under a higher priced tablet, I recommend you looking at this because it works. It does everything that I need it to. It just has to maybe do it at a slower pace. You might have to be a little bit more patient, and you may get booted from an app or your browser from time to time. That's one of those drawbacks at this price point. But overall, if your battery lasts for a good amount of time, it charges through your micro USB, it has a audio out jack, it's got your volume buttons, it's got everything you can expect, and it runs Android. It's overall not that bad a tablet. Those are definitely those pros. But I think what Apple and Samsung and all those other manufacturers of tablets have learned is that those small nuances, those small little things that you do on your iPad that come up as a full experience, they've made a way for those to work a lot better, and it doesn't break your experience. Where this, I noticed those breaks in the experiences with things bogging down, with things kicking me out, with the YouTube not working. You know, Apple, Samsung, all those, they have those down pat. They're just a better overall experience. So I think they've learned that. But is it worth, 10 times the price or 5 times the price? You may have to decide that. But overall, I wouldn't recommend this to everybody. If you can afford, a higher end tablet, it probably might work a little bit better for you. But if you are at this price point where you're, I just want to have, or even just a cheap tablet that you can throw around the house, you don't have to worry about, that's going to stay connected, it's going to have good battery, good standby life. This is not a bad option, especially, or even for a younger kid. You can put parental controls on here, and if they were to break it, you don't have to worry about, being angry that they wasted $500. This is certainly something that can be replaced quite easily. So I was overall impressed with that. Guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check this out. And you all have a great day and look for my other videos. Take care.